Everyone may be seated. Good morning. We are ready to proceed. Ladies and gentlemen, this witness has been previously sworn to.
I'm ready to proceed.
Ms. Anderson.
Good morning.
My name is Eric. Yes, sir.
Oh, Billy.
This is a current copy of my CV.
Education and background.
Certainly. I earned a bachelor's in science with a specialty in psychology from James Madison University in 1989. Proceeded directly from that institution to the Virginia Consortium program in professional psychology. They've since changed the name, I'm sorry. The Virginia Consortium program in clinical psychology. And earned a doctorate in clinical psychology from that institution in 1996. It's actually a conglomerate of 4 universities: Old Dominion in Norfolk, the College of William and Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia, Norfolk State in Norfolk, and also Eastern Virginia Medical School.
Dr. Earnhardt, if you could do me a favor, you're a low talker, if you could use the microphone. Pull it
My
forward.
apologies, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's quite all right. So what is your profession?
I'm a forensic psychologist.
What does a forensic psychologist do?
We practice in the area where psychology and mental health issues intersect with the legal system, the criminal justice system. Our role is to help educate the court regarding mental health issues.
Does that mean that you're a licensed psychologist?
Yes.
Okay. Where are you currently licensed?
Currently, I'm licensed in my home state of Florida. I also retain my license from Virginia. I'm also licensed in Alabama, as well as Connecticut. And I hold a temporary license here in Texas that was issued in September of last year. It's good for 1 year.
And is this going to be doing forensic or do you do any clinical?
No, I only do evaluations.
How long have you been practicing psychology?
I actually began practicing prior to earning my degree. I started in 1993. I worked in a very large residential juvenile treatment center in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Tell the jury a little bit about your career. What have you been doing over the years since you graduated?
Well, so I worked in that institution until I took actually a different position with the parent company. I was employed by the Pines Residential Treatment Center, which was owned by First Hospital Corporation. They then instituted a program where they wanted to do research and outcomes and study kind of the interventions we were doing with our youth to see what was more beneficial, what was more helpful. I took that position in about 96, 97. I maintained that position until 99 when I decided to take a position as a program director of the Department of Juvenile Justice Level 8 Secure Facility in Pembroke Pines, Florida, which is what then brought me to Florida. I worked for that institution, unfortunately, for a very short period of time. New management came in and they just restructured things. They put me into a position of director of research and outcomes for their company, which I didn't really want to do. And in June of 2000, I started my own practice. And I've been doing that ever since and done different work in that practice.
Are you a member of some professional organization?
Yes.
Are those reflected in your resume that has been admitted as professional at never?
Yes.
In looking at your resume, do you have any corrections that you need to make?
mistake I noticed this morning was, I'm a member of a professional organization known as the Association for the Prevention and Treatment of Sexual Abuse, or ATSA. I am also a member of the state chapter of that organization, of which I was a board member. I've been a board member for a very long time, but I stopped being a board member in 2000, and that's not accurately reflected in my CV.
That organization that you were speaking of, were you president of that organization?
Yes, on 2 occasions.
And for how many years?
The first time I was president was for 3 years. The second time was for 5 years.
Dr. Hall, have you ever been published?
Yes.
How many times have you been published?
Outside of work that I did as a graduate student for professors and got published that way, the only other publication I have was a book chapter related to assessing internet child pornography offenders.
Is your practice more evaluation and less research?
I do no research.
Have you ever presented to professionals at conferences on the topic of autism?
Yes.
Have you ever trained any non-mental health professionals on topics related to autism?
Yes.
How often do you train?
Maybe once every other month or 3 or 4 times a year. And we train attorneys to understand autism. We train public defenders, federal public defenders. We train prosecutors. We train, we've done some trainings with the Sexual Violence Predator Program in Florida. We train probation officers at the federal level. And we also train at the state level probation officers just to understand autism and the issues that may come up during your work with them.
So it sounds like you train people from all facets of the criminal justice system.
Yes.
Have you ever testified in court before? Both criminal and civil and criminal?
No, mostly.
Have you testified in both state and federal court?
Yes.
And have you testified for both the state or for prosecutors and defendants?
Yes.
What's that ratio? I mean, how often do you testify for the state versus the defense?
I honestly don't keep track of that information, but I would estimate roughly about 50/50.
And will we do that to you?
Yes.
Dr. Hawk, are you being paid for your time in this case?
Yes.
How much is your hourly rate?
My hourly rate is $450 an hour.
Do you have a partner that you will work with on cases such as this?
Yes.
Do you and your partner offer a rate that if you both work together?
Yes. We often work as a team. We take a team approach to our evaluations. So Dr. Spence has her rate, I have my rate. When we work together, we do kind of a discounted rate, which is about $600.
Do you know about how many hours you have put into this case?
I don't have an actual calculation of the hours. We did come do an evaluation, so we traveled one day, we were here on the ground 3 days. We traveled back another day. We did write a report in this case. My rough guess, probably I spent 15 hours working on that report. Obviously, our prep time and our travel here and our time here being billed as well.
And Dr. Hawk, you mentioned a report. Can I take it down?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to hand you what has already been admitted into evidence as defendant's exhibit number 91. Is this the report that was prepared for this case?
Yes.
Give the jury a brief overview on the methodology and when conducting an evaluation such as this.
Well, usually we start by reviewing records. We're looking for any indication of behaviors related to autism, prior diagnosis, mental health treatment, that type of thing. So we ask for all the records available in discovery. We will then proceed to meet with the client. We will do an interview, collect our own information. Typically interviews are just more social history in these cases, looking at things like where did they grow up, a little bit about their family, school history, how they got along with people, work history, mental health treatment history, obviously, how about any drug use, if any. We will also do a mental status exam, which is really, for lack of a better description, like a mental health checkup. We kind of go through all the diagnostic categories and see if that person has ever had any problems with any of those mental health issues in their lifetime. And we will also do testing, which helps us confirm the diagnosis.
Dr. Enhoff, I noticed on your report that you weren't the sole author of the report. Who else contributed to that report?
Dr. Spence, partner in my practice.
Why would you only write one report? Why not have your own report for each of you?
Well, essentially, as I described, we work as a team approach, and we take the information. Dr. Spence has skill sets, I have skill sets, we kind of combine those skill sets to produce just one product.
You talked about reviewing records. Were you provided records in this particular case?
Yes.
Is the list of those records contained in the report that you prepared?
It would be in the appendix of the record.
Now, generally speaking, let me back up. Where did you get the records? Who provided those?
They would come from your office.
In the records that we provided to you, did that also contain discovery that was provided by the state of Texas?
Yes.
Did you receive and review reports from other experts in the state?
Yes.
And everything that you reviewed is in the report?
Yes.
Okay. Did you watch the video of the abduction?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that something that was relevant to what you did in the particular case?
We watched videos really looking for expressions of autism, symptoms of autism that may have come out during that presentation. It's often very helpful for us to see videos before we actually go in to determine whether or not there's enough there to go forward with the full evaluation.
So, from what you saw, did you feel that it was enough to go forward with the full evaluation?
Yes, from what we saw in the records, and what we saw in the videos.
You spoke earlier about your clinical assessment. In doing a clinical assessment, do you rely solely upon the records provided to you?
No.
What else is involved?
As I mentioned previously, we do an interview with the individual. We will also do testing. We also do collateral interviews. Very helpful for us to have other people's perspectives about the individual.
Why is it important to have someone else's perspective?
Because we want to corroborate the information. We want to corroborate things that they tell us. Historically, there may also be things to do with autism that individual doesn't know that are critical to the diagnosis. So really, one of the things we have to determine is there developmental problems or delays early on. 1, 2, 3 years old. Obviously, the person we're interviewing will tell us that information. So those collateral sources, primary caregivers, those types of folks can provide that information.
Is it possible to do a comprehensive evaluation without speaking to collateral witnesses?
Not in my opinion, not the case.
You said that you meet with the individual. How many times did you meet with them?
We meet with them on 2 occasions.
Do you know about how long that was for?
The total duration was about 9.25 hours. We met with them across 2 days. I think the first day much longer. I think the second day we met with them maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Well, Dr. Enhoff, you said that you reviewed all of these records, that you
as much information as we can to support diagnosis, whether it's an autism diagnosis or some other mental health diagnosis. And we just take all that information in and that helps us support the diagnosis.
Can that information also help you to rule out the diagnosis? How important is it to be able to rule out a diagnosis?
Well, I mean, obviously, many presentations will appear the same, so we want to make sure that we have the information that's going to kind of help us understand which one it is. So we want to rule out diagnoses for that purpose.
I want to focus a little bit on the testing that you did in this case. And again, are the tests that you performed listed in the report that you provided?
Yes, ma'am.
The testing that you did, was that related specifically to diagnosing autism?
Yes.
Are there tests that are related to diagnosing autism that are considered to be the gold standard of autism testing?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are those?
Predominantly ADOS, the Autism Diagnostic Observation Schedule, now in the second division. There's another tool, back up. The ADOS is a tool that's actually administered to the individual that we're assessing. There's another tool that we use called the ADIR, the Autism Diagnostic Interview in Lives. This is a semi-structured interview that's done with the primary caregiver. That's one of the tools that kind of helps us go back and look at early developmental criteria and symptoms and expressions of autism. So those two kind of combined together are considered to be the gold standard.
And Dr. Edmond, did the results of the ADIR and the ADOS reveal anything significant to you?
Yes.
And what is that?
Tanner would, on both tools, met the clinical cut score for diagnosis of autism.
What do you mean clinical cut score?
So we're collecting a lot of information, and then we go through and code that information in certain areas. So we're looking at things like social emotional reciprocity, which is part of autism. We're looking at communication difficulties, which is another component of autism. And then we're looking at repetitive and restricted interests and behaviors, which is another kind of common presentation of autism. So we go through and we're looking for all these things during the interviews. We're looking for all these things during the interviews with collateral witnesses. And then we go through and we code them. And you have to have so many, so many of the items to reach a clinical cut score, clinical diagnosis, so to speak.
In addition to doing the ADIR and the ADOS, are there any other tests that you perform that can confirm the results of those previous tests?
One of the things that we prefer to do is use a tool called the SRS-2, or the Social Responsiveness Scale. This is a tool that looks at social awareness, so being able to go into a room and pick up on nonverbal cues, kind of the buzz in the room, understand, read the room. Comprehension, so being able to take that information, process it, and then response. So once I have that information, how do I then respond to the people in the room? How do I communicate with them? There's also a scale on there for social motivation, as well as restricted and repetitive interests and behaviors. And it's a tool that's highly correlated with diagnosis of autism. So we use that in addition to kind of support the diagnosis.
I noted in your report that you have given something called the ADAS.
Yes.
What is that?
So the ABAS is the Adaptive Behavior Assessment System, now in its third revision. The ABAS is a tool that looks at functionality. So it's one thing to have a diagnosis, but everybody's different, and that's the really important thing to understand. So everybody with autism is not the same. They have impairments, or they have strengths in certain areas, they have weaknesses in certain areas. So the ABAS kind of helps us pull that out. So it's really a measure of functionality. It looks at things like social motivation, so social engagement. It looks at just kind of practical skills, like being able to use functional academics, like balance a checkbook, use math. It looks at things like work and ability to work and hold down a job, those types of things. So we use that to kind of help us understand where deficits may lie.
Dr. Imhoff, so the ADIR and the ADOS tools to diagnose autism. The SRS confirms the diagnosis, and then the ADAS talks about how that diagnosis affects the subject.
Yes,
Okay.
in a nutshell, that's correct.
Based upon the results of the testing and the observations and the records that we reviewed, to a reasonable degree of medical certainty, the Tanner meets criteria for autism spectrum disorder as outlined by the DSM.
Yes.
Did you also evaluate Tanner for post-traumatic stress or any other symptoms related to traumatic events?
We do, often, and just from our experience, from our training, we know that individuals on the spectrum often experience a lot of trauma in their lives. Just because people on the spectrum present differently. So often in school, obviously, the kids don't like other kids who are different, so they tend to tease, pick on the bully, which is a type of trauma. But also in the records, there was multiple presentations of traumatic events and trauma throughout Tanner. So we felt that important to capture as well. So we use a tool called the TSI, the Trauma Symptom Inventory 2. It was designed to measure PTSD, but it also provides very helpful information about trauma and the impact of that trauma on the individual. And specifically for our individuals on the spectrum, there's scales in there related to insecure attachments, impaired self-reference, so not having a good idea of sense of self, who one is, and how that often is taken advantage of by others. So we tend to look at that as well.
What did that test reveal to you about Tanner?
What that test revealed was a lot of significant trauma in his life. He reported symptoms of flashbacks, nightmares, those types of things related to traumatic events in his life. He reported high levels of anxiety on that tool as well. Not just anxiety, but also hypervigilance, which is always kind of being on guard and being very vigilant of your surroundings. But also depression was also another area that he elevated, anger, frustration, which is common among individuals with autism. And also, in dealing with high levels of anxiety and the difficulties that Tanner dealt with, how he would deal with those. So there's different ways people deal with stress and trauma. One way is to kind of just, I'm not going to think about dissociation. There's, another form of dissociation, which is kind of checking out, just kind of zoning out, and checking out, spacing out, or tension-reducing behaviors, which can be directed towards the environment, can be directed towards oneself. So when people experience high levels of anxiety or stress, they tend to act out to reduce or relieve that tension and stress. And we can see this in multiple ways throughout Tanner's life. A lot of suicide attempts, a lot of self-harm, and those types of things.
Dr. Benhoff, with regards to the TSI, are there any validity scales associated with that test?
Yes, there are.
What is the validity scale?
So there's one called the ATR, atypical response, and one called RL, which is response level. So what these scales do is they look at over-reporting or under-reporting. So someone who wants to over-report to look particularly mentally ill or having particularly high levels of PTSD or stress or anxiety. And then there's other individuals who just want to kind of pretend there's not problems and minimize their problems, so under-reporting, as we call it. Tanner produced within normal limits profiles on both of those. So he wasn't over or under-reporting. He was just being open and honest and candid in his reporting.
So based upon the TSI and the validity scales, was there any indication of malingering?
No, not on that tool.
On any of the tools that you had given him, was there any indication of malingering?
The other tools really don't have validity scales built into them.
Based upon your interview and review the records and the evaluation of Tanner, did you arrive at any formal diagnoses other than the autism spectrum disorder that you mentioned earlier?
I I also diagnosed Tanner with bipolar 1 disorder. Most recent episode depressed. I think medications have been helpful in stabilizing his mood somewhat by this report. So that's indicated in the diagnosis as well. And I also diagnosed him with generalized anxiety disorder. It's really based on everything that we saw in the records, behaviors that we observed in him, and the results of the testing.
And lastly, Dr. Grandpa, based upon the records, the 9 hours that you spent with Tanner and the review of all of the evidence in the case and the interviews with the collateral witnesses, were you able to determine if Tanner met the criteria for antisocial personality disorder as set forth in the DSM?
I did not diagnose him with antisocial personality disorder.
Why not?
He didn't meet the criteria.
I'll have to determine.
Cross-examination. Jim Ross, let me ask you a couple of questions. You note on the first page of your report that he was provided with some documents that he signed before he was interviewed by your team. Is that okay if I call it your team? Would it be you and Dr. Spence? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
Okay. You use the word teamwork, so.
It is a team approach, yes.
All right, I'm going to do that. You said he reviewed some documents and signed some things before you interviewed him. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And at any point, did he have any problem understanding what you were explaining to him about those particular documents and what he was signing?
No.
And so you felt comfortable with regard to, for example, his intelligence, his ability to understand things at that point to be able to go ahead and interview?
Yes, he has an Irish accent.
All right. But he didn't have any dramatic problems understanding the forms and warnings and all the stuff that you gave him?
No, he explained it to me in great detail.
All right. And during the interview, I think that you guys took notes during the interview, right? And I think we've been given a copy of your notes. I'm going to ask you about that in a second. Let's talk just a little bit here. I want to clarify this. It seems to me you've got about, 30, 40 hours into this case. Is that right?
I would say that's probably fair, maybe an underestimate.
Okay. So 50?
I haven't added it up, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Well, if we said 40, you would say that's an underrepresentation.
Possibly, I mean, there was obviously time spent preparing for testimony, travel here, time here, so.
Of course. All right. Now, some of the things I wanted to ask you about is that I got what appears, and I'm gonna see you. I have 3 sets of notes here. Is that your understanding that there were 3 sets of notes that were provided?
I only have 1 set of notes, I don't know what Dr. Spence would have provided.
Okay. Do you mind if I show you what was provided, so you tell me which ones are yours and which ones are
Sure.
Dr.
Mine are gonna be the ones with interview notes right across them.
This is you, where it says interview notes?
Yes, that's mine.
So, do you have any awareness of what Dr. Spence put in her notes, or do I need to ask her about that?
I didn't read your notes.
Okay. We'll stick to yours that has the watermark. All right, certainly. So during this process, these tests that you give, and they have a lot of acronyms or abbreviations on them. I'm not going to get into that. But were any of these tests that were done, that were things that were self-reported by Mr. Horner?
So the ADOS would be self-report. We're asking him questions, we're engaging him in a different number of activities. But a lot of that is also we're observing him and what he's doing and how he's interacting with us. The SRS would have been self-reported by him, and the ADAS would have been self-reported by him, as well as the TSI.
Okay. So those 4 tests, you're relying, at least in some part, on the accuracy and the truthfulness of what he's telling you. Is that right?
Yes.
And you would agree with me that his truthfulness is important in answering those questions for you to make a reliable diagnosis. Is that right? Right, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
we're talking over each other a little bit, I'm sorry.
It's helpful, but we also had, collateral information, we also had records which corroborated a lot of what we said, so.
Of course. But again, like anything else, it's a multi-part approach, right?
Yes, we're looking at the issue from several different angles or sources of information. If you will.
Right. And so when you're talking about that and you're taking notes, you said that you watched the video in this case, is that right? How many videos did you watch in this case?
There, I believe, were 2 interrogation videos with law enforcement, and the one which has been referred to as the abduction video.
Okay. And you felt that that was relevant to your assessment in this case?
Yes.
Okay. So just give me the highlights here. You watched all these videos. What do you think is displaying Mr. Horner's autism in these videos?
So one of the reasons we watched the interrogation videos is it had to do with this reference to zero and the possibility of multiple personality disorders. And I was interested in seeing his presentation at those times. There were some indications in the abduction video of levels of anxiety, increasing anxiety, difficulties with change. Individuals on the spectrum have a lot of difficulties with changes in routines and those kinds of things. There was what appeared to be, to me, stimming behavior, which stimming behavior when people on the spectrum get anxious, they engage in some kind of repetitive motor activity. Most people, when I talk about autism, think about the hand flapping, which is kind of classic. But there's also other stimming behavior, like some of our individuals we work with will touch their fingers to their fingertips, or they'll wring their hands in certain ways, or they'll arch their backs. So these are all kind of different stimming behaviors.
Right. And you said you observed some anxiety.
It appeared
How
that he
old
was
does
very anxious
his
in parts
back?
of the video that we watched.
You'd agree with me, if you just kidnapped a child, you'd probably be a little anxious, wouldn't you?
Well, that was actually prior to the abduction portion.
Did you talk to him about what he was doing in those videos? Did you have any discussion with him?
We did not talk to him about facts of the case.
Okay. But you watched the audio and you made some assessments from it, but you didn't talk to him about it.
Videos,
You didn't feel like that was important as part of what you were doing here?
Well,
Talk to him about it?
actually, we did talk to him a little bit about zero, the alternate identity. I did ask him some questions about that.
Ultimately, you concluded zero's not a multiple personality at all.
In my opinion, he would not qualify for multiple personality.
Right. And so as part of this, you also said, I want to get this right here, you asked him about his substance abuse?
Yes, sir.
I think you have kind of a litany of questions that you ask him about his substance abuse. I think it's like hallucinogens, marijuana, cocaine, crack, things like that, right?
Yeah, different categories of substances, yes.
And do you remember what his responses were to you and what you put in your report on those particular questions?
Well, off the top of my head, he...
I'm going to interrupt you. Let's do this. Let me just take you right to that part of your
Okay.
report, and that way we don't have to do it off top. Can you go to page 9 of your report, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And I'm just gonna pick it out here a little bit, just kind of yes and no a little bit here. I just want to make sure I'm correct here.
Sure.
It says that he used powdered cocaine at the age of 30, and his consumption was once per month and 2 times per month. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you said it varied between once per month or twice per month.
He didn't tell you he was using any cocaine on the day of the offense?
We didn't ask him about the day of the offense.
He didn't tell you he was using any on the day of the offense?
he didn't offer that information.
And then the second part of that, it's got, I would characterize that as psychedelics, LSD, acid, things like that. Is that the second part of that?
Psychedelic mushrooms, LSD, yes.
Okay, and he says that sporadically.
Yes.
And then it says, denied the use of crack and so on and so forth.
What the
Yes,
fuck, Judge? Motherfucker.
And on these tests, Doctor, we talked a little bit about, you said 4 of the tests that you gave at least required some portion of answers and reporting by Mr. Horner himself.
Yes, 4 of them, yes.
And I think you only gave, 5 or 6 tests total?
Given to Mr. Horner?
Yeah.
So he would have received the ADOS, the SRS, the ADAS, and the TSI.
So all 4 of the tests that you gave him required some information for you to complete the test directly from Mr. Horner.
Yes. I don't know that I classify it that way. Some are just self-report forms where he fills them out himself.
Okay, so
It wasn't interactive.
let me just make this a general thing. You have to get some things from him.
Yes.
Okay. And in this case, sir, you're aware that, from reading all this stuff, that Mr. Horner has had a pretty serious propensity to telling falsehoods and making different stories. You're aware of that, right?
Objection now to the characterization.
Just to rephrase your question.
Are you aware that Mr. Horner has told untruth with regard to the facts of this case?
I'm aware that Mr. Chandler told different stories to different people.
And were you aware of that coming in before you did these tests where he required him to have self-report?
Oh, that's a good question.
Think about that for a moment.
He probably assumes it with cases like this.
I would believe so. I don't recall specifically. Honestly, I'm sorry.
Well, you reviewed an extensive amount of records according to your affidavit, is that right?
Yes.
And you reviewed the other expert reports in this case, did you not?
Yes, those would have come after you saw him.
Right. And so you're aware that at least as to his initial story in this case as to what he did, that's untrue.
I am aware that there have been multiple stories in reference to what actually transpired by him.
So knowing that, going into that, how can you place any faith on what he's telling you is accurate and true if you know coming in that he's not been truthful in the past?
Well, as I mentioned previously, one of the tools that we use has validity scales in it, so it looks for over-reporting, under-reporting, that type of thing. We also had corroborating information. That's why we did collateral interviews with other individuals. We had school records. We had records from mental health treatment facilities. So through that, we were able to identify consistent information.
But things like things that he reported to you about his feelings, things that he reported to you about how he relates to other people, things of that nature, that would come solely from Mr. Horner, correct?
From his perspective, yes, but also, as part of the ADIR, we are asking primary caregivers, how did he relate to other children his age? Did he play with them? Did he seem to get along with them? Did he seem to understand rules of the games, follow the rules of the games? All those types of things that gauge social knowledge. We also, there's questions in there about, was he able to describe his feelings to you? Did he seem to have one expression all the time for one, just one expression all the time, or was his expression varied depending on the situation? So there's a lot of corroborating information.
I guess I'm getting at that. You're telling us you believe what he was saying.
I believe
Right.
that the tests are valid, yes, because actually 2 of the tests, the SRS and the ADAS, were also completed by his maternal grandmother with very similar scores.
And I'm going to ask you this the last thing.
Here's
So
what I'm
you're
not
not-
understanding. Does the prosecution not believe that mentally ill people have the ability to lie? I mean, just because he lied doesn't mean he's not mentally ill. Is what, like, when the causation isn't, what is it? Correlation, causation, whatever, they're not equal.
Here have the watermark on it.
Yes, sir.
And I just want to clarify this with you.
It's not like retards don't lie, is what I'm
These
saying.
notes are the ones that are like that, they just have the print on them and no watermark?
Yes, my notes would have the watermark. You'll have to confirm with Dr. Spence. Those are.
Well, let me ask you this, there were only 2 people involved in providing notes in
I
this
would
case?
assume they're Dr. Spence.
I
I
would,
can't really see them. I'm
Retards
sorry.
are
That's okay.
angels,
If we
though.
got two-
They can't lie.
perfectly okay. If we got 2 and yours had the watermark on, you would agree with me?
I'm sorry, mine would be the one with the watermark.
And
You
Dr.
paid the smuggle. I didn't know he was here, actually. I thought I was just
That's what.
talking to myself, literally. Hi, how you doing?
Dr. Info.
I had to check to see after I said something.
Did the school records that were provided to you, prepared by providers at the school, corroborate your findings on these tests?
Yes, and there were diagnoses of autism in those records. There were descriptions of behavior consistent with autism in those records, absolutely.
So the records that you reviewed dating back 20, 25 years, were there any inconsistencies with that diagnosis?
I'm not
Right,
sure I
let me
understand.
rephrase that. You looked at records that go back 20, 25 years.
Hey,
Was the
go.
diagnosis consistent?
What?
Yes.
Hello. Interesting.
The prosecutor asked you about whether or not you felt Tanner understood the documents that he was signing. Were you testing
no.
for intellectual disability?
No, we didn't do any testing for mental disability.
Do you have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
I have nothing for Your Honor.
Mr. State? Nothing further on.
Let Dr. Imhoff be excused.
No objection?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So he's got autism. Everybody knows he's got autism now. I bet they don't sentence him to death,
You
man.
can sit, you can stay. If you'd like to sit in, you're welcome to stay.
Okay, thank you.
Because the
Uh-huh.
the news agency we were watching right now is convinced that he's done. But I don't know, man. All it takes is one person. And they're asked 2 questions. They went over at the beginning of this. They have to answer 2 questions yes to sentence them to death. It's, whatever. Let me bring them up right here.
Okay.
The beginning, talk about it. There it is right here. So the first question is, would Tanner Horner be a future danger to society? Yes or no? If they answer no to that, then he doesn't get sentenced to death. The answer, he could be a future, or would be a future danger to society. The next question is there anything in his background that should spare him from the death penalty? Is there anything in his background that should spare him? So, I don't know, man. All it takes is one juror to feel sorry for him being like mentally disabled and his upbringing and not having like a correct family dynamic and shit. All it takes is one. I don't think he's gonna get sentenced to death, dude.
Condition.
So, but that's because I am a professional internet lawyer. That's why I think that. But I don't know, man. I guess I'm able to empathize with even this. Only for the death situation with this thing. I know that prison justice is going to get to him much quicker than the death sentence would if he gets this. But so he's going to die regardless. It's just one will be quicker than the other one. Gin pop will be quicker than death penalty.
Good morning, how are you doing?
And some of the jurors might even be thinking that and want him to go gin pop so he gets prison
And
justice.
you're also very soft-spoken.
So there's also that.
Just a little bit.
They might already be thinking like I am, 5D chess.
Dr. Spence, I think
You really want him dead and you don't want the taxpayers paying for it? Gin pop's the way to go.
They'll just take you in your back room.
All right. And they might even talk to each other about that themselves in
And
there.
what we recognize
you know?
is exhibit number 92B.
I don't
That's my
know, would that be wild?
curriculum
Are they allowed to?
And what is a curriculum vitae?
A curriculum vitae includes the job that you do, the jobs you've previously done. It includes your schooling. It includes any committees that you're on. It includes your experience. And in my case, I do a lot of training, so it lists all the trainings that I provide on a regular basis.
And Dr. Spence, what do you do for a living?
So currently, I'm the clinical director of Autism Support Services for Specialized Treatment and Assessment Resources, which is a private forensic practice. I've been in that capacity for about 8 years. Prior to that, I worked for the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities at the University of Central Florida. And I do still work for them part-time, but in the 20 years that I worked for this center full-time, I worked with people with autism from birth to death. I worked directly with families. I provided training. I trained law enforcement on how to recognize
How can
autism.
you judge?
And prior to that, I was a teacher.
I was coughing and dropping shit,
Tell me
man.
about your educational background.
My undergraduate degree is in secondary English language arts, so I was an English teacher. I then went back to school and I earned a master's degree in special education in Florida. It's called Varying Exceptionalities. And then I went back to pursue my PhD, which is in personnel prep with a specialized focus on autism and preparing educators, psychologists, or professionals on how to transition students out of school at any level into the community.
You can mention specialized treatment assessment resources. What do you do for, is that also known as STAR?
STAR.
What do you do for STAR?
So I, with my partner who testified earlier, we conduct assessments. We do those sometimes together. I also do work on my own, which would be consulting for a variety of people, which could be public defenders, could be prosecutors, could be the court. I do a lot of education for the court. And I do a lot of training across the United States addressing autism and what it is. I do a lot of work with federal probation and parole, how to support individuals who come into contact with law enforcement and to support those who may be rendering them supports and or monitoring them in the community.
Dr. Spence, you also mentioned the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities. What is that?
In the state of Florida, the Centers for Autism and Related Disabilities are technical assistance centers. They are state funded. There are 9 centers across the state, and they work primarily in concert with communities in wide areas, depending on where you are. And they provide training. They work directly with families. Again, people who, from birth to death, who have autism. They do a lot of training. Primarily, that's what I do in my part-time capacity. I train law enforcement. And they also do public-based work, so this would be community-based events, so to bring people together in communities who have autism, or if there's awareness that may be needed or necessary
That's a good time.
to support an individual.
It's like the
Dr.
Special
Spence,
Olympics
do you
of
hold
parties.
Any faculty positions anywhere?
I'm currently, I've been an adjunct instructor at the University of Central Florida for about 20 years. I taught in both the College of Education and in the Communication and Sciences, which is essentially the college that supports speech and language pathologists and occupational therapists.
Have you been published?
Yes, I have.
And typically when you write articles and book chapters and whatnot, what is your area of focus?
Most of my publications have to do with transitioning individuals, so helping individuals transition from high school into adult life who have autism. So supporting the family, the individual, and seeking community-based resources, and the best way to do that.
Have
Which
you
he
ever
just
been
stopped.
on the editorial board?
He just
of any
stopped.
publication?
Yes, I
Any kind
spent
of help.
17 years as on the review board
he?
for the Journal of Vocational Rehabilitation, which is a peer-reviewed journal in the field of special education and
I think he had
working
just gotten
with
back from
individuals who
medication
have
though.
disabilities who are seeking
Like 2 weeks
employment.
prior or some
And for the
shit.
last 10 years, I've been on the consultative
Remember now.
editorial board for the Journal of Intellectual Disabilities, which is both our peer-reviewed journals in the field, supporting primarily individuals with developmental disabilities.
And Dr. Spence, are all of your publications listed in your CD that has been offered as Defense Exhibit 91?
Yes, they are.
Throughout your career, how long would you say that you have been working with people diagnosed with autism spectrum disorders?
Since 1993. I started my career teaching in a psychiatric facility, and I went on from there to become a public school teacher. I taught both regular ed and special ed, and in 1999 I went to work for the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities.
I think I would get diagnosed with autism
Yes,
now.
In both state and federal,
Yes.
I wonder.
for both the defense and prosecution?
It seems fucking broad, overreaching
About how many
diagnosis.
times do you testify for side? What's the ratio there?
I don't keep track. I'd say probably 60% defense and 40%
This judge is an asshole,
prosecution.
dude.
And Dr. Spence, are you being paid for your work in this case?
He's
Yeah.
gotta know he's doing that, right? Nobody
What
told
were
him
you
yet.
asked to do
Hey, yeah,
for
you're
the
coughing in your
defense
mic a
in
lot.
this case?
In this case, we were asked to, I was asked specifically to review educational records, social security records, and historical records for Mr. Horner, and my partner and I were asked to render an autism spectrum disorders evaluation.
Give the jury just a brief overview of your methodology in conducting an evaluation such as
Dude,
this.
they said that he got taken off of Social Security disability because they deemed him no longer autistic at 18 years old. So that's weird. How does that fucking happen? How does that happen? How does he still have brain abnormalities on scans and shit, MRIs and PET scans, and there was another one, and they're saying it just went away all of a sudden? How did the fuck did that happen? How did the doctors drop the ball on that? Did they not do enough testing, or the test's not available yet to do the scans to know for sure that it was actually still there? Like, I'm confused. They think that his brain has just healed itself and he was good now?
So, as my partner testified, in general, we receive records. We receive records for a variety of reasons. We want to see if the person has any other diagnoses, if they have other mental health conditions that may affect how we're looking at them or what we're using to test them. We also do collateral witness interviews, so that's with family members, that's with educational staff. So the records, those, and then individual testing, that's considered appropriate and or best practice for that client based on what we're looking for.
Dr. Spence, were you in the courtroom when Dr. Denhoff testified?
Yes, I was.
Did you hear him talk about all the records that y'all had received and reviewed?
Yes, I did.
Did you receive and review the same records?
I did.
This is a
Were you
partner, his team.
present during the testing that Dr. Denhoff conducted?
Okay.
Yes, I was.
Were you an active participant in the testing, or were you just an observer?
I was an active participant in the testing.
Now, have you reviewed the results of the testing that you and Dr. Denhoff have, that y'all administered?
Yes.
Do you believe that, to a reasonable degree of medical certainty, that Tanner Horner meets the criteria for autism spectrum disorder?
Yes.
I want to talk to you a little bit about autism, okay? Are there different levels of autism?
Yes.
And what are those levels?
So currently, according to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, so the DSM-5, which I'm sure you've heard quite a bit about during these proceedings, there's under autism spectrum disorders, there's discernment for level 1, level 2, and level 3. And so essentially what this is differentiating is...
By the time we're done with autism and like move on to the next thing that we're telling everybody has, it's going to be like, you're going to be like 50 different levels of autism. It's going to be like how LGBTQ has more and more letters. Everybody, literally, if you're not autism, you're weird at that point in the future. It's like, oh, what? What level are you, man? Oh, I'm not a level. Oh, what? Oh, man, I'm sorry, dude. Fuck. a normie or whatever. I don't know.
Are the types of supports that the individual needs. So as the diagnostician,
You're gonna wanna be
looking at
autistic.
criteria, do they meet the criteria of being autistic or having autism?
'Cause, you know,
Dr.
Rayman
Inhofe
was
talked
super
about
smart.
rising to the
There's-
clinical level on the test based on observation,
autism.
based on historical data. The level 1, level 2, and level 3 is a reference to how many supports that individual needs to communicate with others, to socialize with others. Some clients have very significant, what are referred to as restricted and repetitive patterns of behaviors, meaning they get overly focused on something. So how much support do they need to maybe move away from
I
that
agree.
or to not be perseverative about it? And so
Just
when
like,
you're doing the evaluation, we make a discrimination.
ADHD and
Is this
bipolar
person
were overly
only needing
diagnosed.
communicative support, or are they only needing a little
Before.
social and communicative support? So that would be a level 1, or are we looking at somebody, level 3 would be probably nonverbal, needing significant supports to function in the community, either traversing the community or getting assistance.
Is level 1 autism still autism?
Yes, absolutely.
And when you have these people who are on level 1, do they still have deficits?
Yeah, absolutely. So by definition, you have autism with each of these levels. So meeting the criteria means you definitively, there's certain things you have to have. So under criterion A, problems with reciprocity, problems not understanding nonverbal social cues, difficulty with relationships and friendships. And then under criterion B, there's a variety of things. So you have all those things. But the way that it looks in somebody who has level 1 and the way that it looks in somebody that has level 3, it looks different. And so I think about this like looking at Swiss cheese, let's say, okay? I have 2 blocks of Swiss cheese, but the holes are different.
We're all
They're the
autistic
same,
level
but the
1,
holes
bro.
are different. So the way they're going to experience things, the levels of help that they need is going to be
We're all
different.
retarded, I think.
And Dr. Spence, one of our other witnesses had said that there's a saying in autism circles that if you've met an autistic person, you've met an autistic person.
So that's a quote that's attributed to Dr. Stephen Shore, who is a person with autism, and yes, it's very true in that I've worked with thousands of people that have autism, but they each have a unique presentation.
So do all people
I don't fucking
with
understand it.
autism,
Autism.
do they all share common characteristics?
Yeah, by virtue of having the diagnosis, again, we would expect to see difficulty with reciprocity, problems with not understanding, not picking up on nonverbal social cues, difficulty on the whole in relationships, and then we see rigidity, need for sameness, structure, wanting to be scheduled, and then, as I mentioned, sometimes overfixation or repetitive behavior that's surrounding an object or an item.
And during your evaluation of Tanner, did you observe any of those symptoms that you just related, the rigidity, the need for structure, things of that nature?
Yes.
What did you observe?
I remember during the first day, Mr. Horner, based on the records, likes structure, likes to know what's going to happen, and likes a routine. And so during the evaluation, he became very focused on when his medication was going to come, and to the point where I finally got up and went and asked one of the guards because it didn't come at a certain time, and he reported to us it really bothered him when the meds did not come at a certain time. Though he knew they were coming, again, this would be kind of a common symptom that we see.
Well, I mean, the fucking meds that last for, bro, medication time is medication time. You're supposed to get it at a specific time. Like, that's how it works in jail, too. You know what I mean? There's a med call, and it's always at the same exact time every day. You don't, like, get pushed out on your, lady. That's not being overly obsessive compulsive. That's fucking being like, hey man, it's my medication time. This is the time I'm supposed to have my medication. You know what I mean? It's wearing off. I'm starting to wig out a little bit or whatever. I don't know what the fuck he's on. Probably Seroquel or something. Calm. But what I was gonna say, I saw somebody said something in the chat. Parents want to get their child diagnosed where they can get it checked. Yeah, if you look at Minnesota and the Somalians, they have some of the highest prevalence of retard style autism And it's the Somalian community in particular, and it's rampant with fraud. Their kids probably aren't even fucking retarded, but they're going to like a Somalian doctor or some shit, and he's like, "Hey, your kid's retarded. You got to homeschool him. Here's a check." And then the kid ends up actually being retarded because he's being homeschooled. Who knows? This is the thing, though. Somalian fraud, Medicare fraud for autistic kids. They have some of the highest numbers of autism in the country. Like, which state has highest autism kids per capita? Oh shit. See? And that's why they need to look at California too. Minnesota's third though. It says Minnesota. I didn't even put Minnesota in this list. All I asked was which state has the highest autism kids per capita. And it said top states for pediatric autism prevalence. And it said California, New Jersey, Minnesota. Frequently cited in the top tier with prevalence around 3% in recent studies. And most of those are the Somalians, dude. It's not that Somalians are that fucking retarded. It's just they're gaming us, dude. They know the system.
I want to get back to some of the.
They heard what it was like, and they came over here to get a part of that, piece of that.
Persons with autism.
Yeah, my kids are
You
retarded
talked
too.
about getting
And I'm gay, so can I be a citizen?
services and.
And they're not gay, you know what I mean?
transitioning from high school
They're a
to
kid.
adulthood. How important is it to assist a student with autism transitioning to adulthood?
It's critically important. If an individual who's exiting school, finishing high school, is not properly prepared, they often end up not working. They often end up not going on for additional education if they've not been adequately prepared to transition out of high school. And if, depending on the kinds of, most of my clients and many people that have autism have co-occurring conditions. The two most common are depression and anxiety. So those also need to be supported. So depending on the way the client's presenting, we need to think about how able they are to live on their own, how able they are to secure medications, how able they are to secure employment. And there needs to be a good solid plan for that, supports for that, and for many of my clients, they need support well into adulthood to be successful.
You mentioned co-occurring comorbidities. Anxiety and depression, how does that affect how does all that work together, the autism, the anxiety, the depression?
Can you be more specific on your question?
I'll try to ask a better one. You would talk about comorbidities. I mean, what is that? And why is it important to understand?
So comorbidity means, so if you have a person and they have a diagnosis of autism, comorbidity means the depression is another standalone diagnosis, meaning that their symptoms rise to a clinical level of recognition. Same with anxiety. So independent of the autism, they also have these conditions. I think that's what I'm trying to ask.
Dr. Spence, is there a cure for autism?
No.
Is it a lifelong diagnosis?
Yes, it is.
What can we do to help transition students with autism into adulthood?
Well, there's a lot we can do. I mean, we look individually at the needs of the individuals, but for individuals who have complex behavioral histories, we look at applied behavioral analysis. For individuals who are having difficulty with depression, we want to make sure they're being adequately treated, if that be medication, if that be therapeutic intervention. So really individually looking at the client and what they need is critically important. And again, when we have an individual that has multiple things happening, most of my clients have multiple co-occurring conditions. ADHD, some have OCD. All of those need to be thought about in terms of what kinds of supports you need and how also to kind of maintain those. So you move away from parental or caregiver managing that.
He has
actually
autism.
manage
Well, they're
that.
warning
That's
you
very
in case he
important.
drools on you or something, dude.
Dr. Spence, based upon the records that you.
Hey, now there's
are you
actually
able to
0 people
determine
here.
Whether or not,
It says there's 0 people here now. My fucking viewer like thing is going. It went all the way up to 4. We were at 4, man, and now it's 0. We did it. What? There aren't people here. It's fucking lying to me, dude. What the hell? What? I don't make money doing. Who said I make money doing this? I'm living doing this. What? Somebody said that? Where? The counter is broken. Everything is broken, I guess. Okay. No, I don't. I don't make a living. I don't make a living. See, it says I'm a dead streamer.
Tanner
I'm
received
dead.
services during school?
Yes, we do.
And.
Not alive. No
were these
living
the type
here.
of things that could, let me back up. Were the services that he received
Thank you.
in school,
Thank you
the
for
type of services
thank you for your
that
support.
might help them cope while in school?
Yes.
Are those the type of services that might help them, I guess, for lack of better words, navigate life as an adult?
I think some of the things that were being worked on, particularly with the in-home trainer, would be things that, had they continued to be provided, would have been helpful during the transition period into adulthood.
Was there any indication that services were provided in any form or fashion after he graduated from high school?
Not that I saw.
So what happens if something that he learned in high school isn't reinforced by the additional services after school?
For most people, it's quite unlikely that it will carry over, or what we call generalized. So people with autism have a difficult
Have
time
survived
generalizing. So if I teach
Off
you
cat food.
a certain skill in a certain environment, they often have difficulty taking that skill and then applying it to a new environment. So if there had not been some either method, instruction,
good
or
deal.
targeted intervention that was going to continue to teach those skills that would be needed, it'd be very unlikely for somebody to maintain those on their own.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Spence, I want to shift your attention to the Social Security records that have been offered in evidence in this case. In order to receive a disability benefit, must you have a diagnosis?
For Social Security, yes,
Oh, you mean
a qualifying diagnosis.
just surprised, man.
If you have a diagnosis, does that automatically mean that you are disabled?
By the measure of Social Security.
Yes.
So you have to have a qualifying diagnosis, and you, according to the agency, then there would be certain demarcations of behavioral output or symptoms you're experiencing, and determinations are made based on the either presence of significant symptoms or the lack thereof.
Did you review the Social Security records that were provided in this case?
Yes, I do.
And based upon your review of the records, were you able to determine if Tanner was receiving benefits as a juvenile?
Yes, I believe he began receiving SSI income at the age of 10.
Oh
He was
wow.
identified as a disabled child at 10.
And based upon your experience with helping other autistic juveniles obtain benefits, does the Social Security office, do they hand it out, or do they need some sort of documentation?
But they absolutely need documentation.
I want to jump forward to when Tanner was 18, and he went in for a disability determination.
Here we go. I want to know about this.
What does that mean? What is that?
Sure, so.
Like, how did they
The Social Security
decide?
Administration essentially has kind of two operating bodies. So you've got 18 and prior to 18, and then you've got 18 and older. So for children who
Interesting.
are identified and diagnosed, it's I don't want to say simple, but it's quite easy to get services, especially if there's a behavioral component or difficulty in multiple settings, which
Interesting.
is certainly the case for Mr. Horner. Once a person turns 18, the criteria by which the Social Security Administration uses to measure how disabled you are changes.
What?
So as you get older,
That's interesting.
there's going to be decisions about how able you might be able to work. How able are you going to be able to live on your own? How able are you going to be able to function? So there's kind of two different ways that is looked at. And in that determination, usually you meet with an individual meets with an evaluator who does an interview, may do some testing, and then they will pass along.
How is it any different than being able to get along with kids in school, being able to get hold down a job and get along with coworkers? Did they think he had gotten better and it just went away? Because they said a minute ago that it doesn't go away. You have it for life.
To the Social Security Administration, who then determines whether or not the individual meets the criteria to continue to receive Social Security income benefits.
Now, you said that the determination for a juvenile was a little more lax than as an adult. Even as a child,
That's
will you be
interesting.
required, or will that child be required to have a
That means that we
Disabling
incentivize parents to like try to get their kids on this disability shit. Because apparently the rules are relaxed. It seems like it's almost a way that our government's incentivizing people to have children. A low-key way that the Dems maybe, I don't know, who has more autistic kids, the Dems or the Republicans? Are there numbers on that? Probably Republicans are retarded.
Yes.
Right. I'm running out of cat food and I'm doing that right
Based
now.
on the review of the records that were
I think we got enough
offered
for all the health
by
orders.
the state, were Tanner's benefits terminated when he turned 18?
Yes.
And was that because he no longer met the criteria?
He no longer met the criteria according to the Social Security Administration's criteria.
So does that mean that Tanner no longer had autism?
No.
Okay, we're gonna come back to this lady. I have cat responsibilities, man. I'm 10 minutes late. I'm putting this in Simon's mouth. Where is he? Where is he? He's gonna come in here. I'm gonna put him in here. Put this in his mouth. And he's gonna eat more food. He's gonna love it. I think I gotta do something with this shit on this desk. I really gotta do that. Oh, come here, you sleepy boy. I tried to give Simon. I tried to give him some of his old food. This is his little pill pocket with the pills in it. Oh, I tried to give him some of his senior food, his senior wet food. Squeeze it, make sure the pills are there because I'm a little OCD. I gotta like double check myself right before I put it in his mouth and make sure. I'm weird like that. See, I just had to triple check it because I wanted to make triple sure. I know it's there though. Back. So I must be autistic. All right. Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Oh no! I need to put this here. Come here. Put this here. I know. You smell first. You want to eat it? You want to eat it? No, you don't want to eat it. You're like, that's why I do. Why are you gonna look at me like that when we do this? No. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Yay, good boy. Good boy. Yes. All right. I need to rinse my hands now. That was methimazole and furosemide, both are medications that you or I might be taking one day. Because they're for heart. And the heart is like the main thing that's going out in all people. So I'm also giving Sweet Pea a can of her old, one of the old foods that I would feed her back in the day. And it's a fish. And hopefully it doesn't give her stomach upset or diarrhea or constipation or anything. She's getting a full can of it. It's like 5 more calories than the old one. And he's also getting some white fish.
Okay, watch out. Come here. Come here. Good boy. You're so smart, Sawyer. Come here.
You really are so smart. Ready? Okay. Good boy. Skirt, skirt.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, Tom. Let's go, Tom. How's Sweet Pea? Come here. Come here. Oh, you're gonna love it in a second, baby. Oh my God, you're so excited. I need to clip your nails again. I need to clip your nails again.
You can already smell it all. You're like, ooh. Oh, no, wait. She's really excited. You can tell that it's fishy. She hasn't had this type in like a month and a half. You gotta breathe, baby.
You don't have to worry about us stealing it, sweetie.
Oh, it's amazing. The speed, the agility. All right. Now we got this one. He's getting also a food that he's actually never had, but it's a mixture of the Fancy Feast chicken beef with Fancy Feast kitten ocean whitefish. So I don't know, he might not like it at all. He might just turn his nose up, and I gotta go make another plate right now. So we'll see. Does Sawyer like fish? Okay, he looks like he likes it. Okay, good job, good job. We got Simon sniffing outside because Trident and Shiloh are out there. Good boy, Sawyer. You like it? Looks like you might like it. She's already done. That was 85 grams. He's got 105. Because he's a grown boy.
You guys keep tearing your toy up. Let me fix this.
Let's just do it like this. How about that? Let's just do it. Yeah, I'll play with it like that instead. Huh? And this would be like a extra toy over here. All right. She has such a little tail, doesn't she? Looking good, looking good. Also, while I'm in here, I need to do this box real fast too. You already know. I forget. Well, I think. I did really well. I forget to do their box for an entire day. One of 3 boxes, but in case you're new here, it's just already done one of them. Done Simon's box before I went live. I think. I don't remember when I did it. I did it. What's out already? That's a lot of waste. You saw your. I'll leave him in there longer. He didn't eat very much, actually. He needs to eat. He needs to eat at least half more of that. Man. Well, yeah, maybe he'll just have an off day of eating today because I'm gonna get the food later. But I know they all like more. I need to do his box too, though. But Sweet Pea, can you please? Oh, thank you, thank you. No. Hey, stop it! Ah, you know what? Now you're making me do it. You're making me do it. I didn't want to have to do it. That's a pretty big bag. That's from 24 hours. Oh, look at it. Look at how it glistens in the sun, y'all. It's like a stained glass window. That's art right there. You know, because no two are alike. It's like a snowflake. I'm just trying to find a way that we can make some money or something with these things, y'all. You know, I gotta do his box. Okay, so I gotta do his box. Baby, should I let him out and then put him back at like 10:30? Just let him out again? I don't know what's the better option. Because if I don't, then I'll leave him in there too long and then I'll end up not doing his box. Let me just do his box. Oh, was he eating? Oh, no, he was eating. Oh, I interrupted. You were eating? Oh, okay, that means you're... All right, so I'm just going to do his box. And then I am going to put him back in there. But not before I take her bowl out. Because... Sweet Pea? Sweet fucking Pea? You fucking no. You stop it. Okay. Do you want to eat more of that? Don't you? You just want out. Dude. I gotta do this. Go on. Get out of here. I gotta do this now so I can take this out with my trash. With everything else. Otherwise, I start putting his on the back burner. He doesn't do much over here but poop. So there's really not going to be much here probably. For some reason, this is his poop box. I'll be really surprised if there's any pee at all. It's the most interesting thing about him, I think, is that he knows his poop over there. He likes his privacy. He's taking a shit. Look, no pee. No pee at all. No pee. The only way this one gets pee in it is if I leave him in here for like too long. No pee at all. Wow. Just a very minuscule amount of poop. Yo, how much you got? How much you got, dude? That's that good. That fire. I really need to pack here. So, but this was the main thing I needed to get out of here. Because as you can see, this is that good, dog. None of the other bags came out like this. Concentrated. This is like one strain, like one type of product. It's not mixed in with all that other bullshit. You want kitten turds? That's all you get with this. So if you're like a witch or something that's doing spells, hit me up. If you need kitten turds that are super pure, made only with Fancy Feast. That shit's pretty hot. I could probably sell that on Etsy. Especially packers like that. What do you guys think? Would you guys buy one? I'll put them up in the store today. If anybody's interested, I'll let you buy it anonymously with the Bitcoin. Along with my dirty underwear. Back.
Did you review the evaluation that was done in that case?
Yes. Right off the tree.
Yes.
I gotta make sure of something though. I gotta make sure this sweet tea is doing a little something crazy. I'm pretty sure I put it far enough away from the edge so the sweet tea can't crack. She'll get up in there Mission Impossible style and start from the outside pulling it out. She's good at it.
No, I do not.
Why not?
You had an 18-year-old male who was driven to the interview by his grandmother. You had a young man who had a history, a reported history, had been receiving for 7 years benefits based on that disabling condition, who reported that both of his parents were incarcerated. The interviewer described him as disheveled and not a good historian. And so really, in my opinion, what should have happened and what in most cases would happen would be you would then ask the collateral witness, you would ask a caregiver, and then they could have been afforded records from special education, which were readily available, his mental health records, which were readily available, or the recording of his paternal grandmother, who was taking care of him because neither of his parents were available to take care of him, how able he was to do things.
Dr. Spence, I want to move on to the records that you reviewed related to the events in this case. Did you review the video of this incident?
Yes.
And did you talk to Tanner about the facts of the case?
Dude, think about this, y'all. Think about this. Two things caused this to happen. And I'm not putting blame solely, but I mean, if you think about it, if he wouldn't have gotten taken off of this, he might not have worked for FedEx, right? And this might not have happened. He wouldn't have had the avenue, the van with the windows, the ability driving around and put somebody in the back of and people not be suspicious of. You know, having a FedEx truck, people have some sort of trust automatically for that. And then DEI got him hired also because they had to see that the dude was a little fucking kind of off. Because I remember, like I was talking about the other day, back in the day, 20 years ago, you'd have to go through 3 different interviewers to get a job at Best Buy. You're telling me it's not the same for FedEx or harder? Nowadays, it must be easier. And they hired that dude because they were like, he's a little weird, he's a little off. I mean, you know, he needs work. Like, that's like DEI hire without calling it DEI hire. Walmart's been doing it for years with the door greeters. So, those two things, if DEI wouldn't have hired some special needs dude to be delivered in SF, but they could clearly see he was a little retarded. Oh shit, I lost my internet. I lost my internet. Is it still lost? What's happening?
Why not?
We were asked to do an autism evaluation.
And do the facts of the case affect your opinion on whether he does or does not have autism?
No.
So was it relevant to what you were asked to do?
Okay.
Reviewing all the
Alright.
materials?
Reviewing specifically the facts of the incident?
They're not necessary, but obviously if they're
Cat
making
caretaker,
sure
baby.
that we're only looking at autism and there's nothing else for that reason.
Yeah. Claire has multiple pervasive conditions. And we're talking about autism, depression, anxiety, blood exposure, FASD.
So y'all object this?
Go ahead, ask your question.
Communications disorders.
I've never been
and
tested for
sexual
lead
brain
exposure.
abnormalities. So even though.
Wait, I'm sorry, I shouldn't interrupt.
Evidence related to
Have y'all been ever tested for lead exposure? Is that a normal thing that kids get tested for at some point?
So y'all object this?
Or you just be
Go
a
ahead,
little
ask
retarded?
your question.
communications disorders and structural brain abnormalities. So even though you didn't review the evidence related to the offense, and even though you didn't talk to Tanner about the facts of the case, can you opine on whether any of these conditions caused him to commit the offense on November 30th of 2022?
No,
Is that what you're here to do?
no,
You're not here to say that autism caused him to do this?
absolutely not.
You're not here to say that fetal alcohol syndrome disorder caused him to do this?
No.
Exactly.
But my
That's what I
question
don't
is-
understand. Why the prosecution keeps hitting them with that on the redirect, or not redirect, but the cross. They'll hit them with, "Are you saying that this is?" So now the defense is asking before the prosecution does, just to get out of the way, or to make it look like I guess it shows the jury that they don't give a shit about that. That's not what they're trying to say. They're trying to let the jury know that's not what they're trying to say. I guess. Yeah, that's it.
Is it possible that these conditions influenced his behavior on that day or the days leading up to that event?
Certainly.
And can these conditions influence his behavior after the event, after his arrest?
Yes.
And can these conditions influence his behavior going forward once he goes to prison?
Yes.
And lastly, Dr. Smith, I want to talk to you about Tanner. Now, based upon your 30 plus years of working with people with autism, do most of them know that there's a little different?
In my experience, yes, they do.
And based upon your interactions with Tanner, did he know that he was a little different?
Yes, he reported that to us.
Now, even though Tanner has had these conditions that we just talked about, has he been able to behave himself in jail?
That's been reported to us, yes.
What is it? Solitary.
You talked earlier
What's he
about
gonna do? Hit himself more?
that, he
Why
can
is?
only
Hey,
autism spectrum.
Why the fuck isn't he hitting it? Dude, I was just saying this yesterday, wasn't I? Like, if he really wanted to sell this shit, he should just all of a sudden start punching himself in the side of the head while the case is happening. Like, while they're talking about him or something. Didn't he used to do that when he was younger? Harder! I'm sure the mom would like it.
And routine. Did you find that to be the case with Tanner?
Oh, definitely.
What do you say that?
He reported the things that he does during the day, which is actually one of the questions that's asked during the ADOS. If he likes knowing what comes next, he likes knowing what the routine is.
Why didn't he stop
he likes
punching
knowing
himself
what
in
to
the head,
expect.
though?
He likes maintaining his
Why?
schedule as much as he can.
Change habits. Would you agree with that? And change habits that is not within the control of, not within our personal control. Yeah. Can we control what other people do?
No.
Can we control what other organizations do? So it's been suggested that any change in routine will always result in a meltdown, which could evolve into violence. Has this been your experience in dealing with autistic clients for over the past 30 years?
No.
And based upon your evaluation and your interviews and your observations, how well has Tanner adjusted to life in jail?
By all accounts, he seems to be doing well.
Yeah, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
I'll pass it later.
Cross-examination.
Oh, wow.
You just answered a question about autistic people in general resulting in violence. Is that what your testimony is? They don't generally do that, do they? Autistic people.
I'm sorry,
They don't generally have a meltdown or resort to violence, do they?
the proportionate rate would be a low percentage, yes.
Right. And you were asked that question, I think is more of a question of, do they have a propensity for violence? You would agree that autistic people do not have a propensity for violence.
Some.
Right. But, you know, in this case, that this particular case, this particular person you're saying is autistic, did indeed resort to high order violence, correct?
Yeah.
And sexual assault.
Yes.
And you listened to the audio.
I saw audio, I believe there's 4 or 5 tapes, so I saw just after she was abducted and the camera was covered, but I have read the entire transcript of the full audio.
Some of the questions, I'm not going to repeat questions that I asked Dr. Kimoff as far as truthfulness and trustworthiness, but you agree with me that you realized coming into this that Mr. Horner had not been truthful about many aspects of what happened in this case.
Yes.
Did you inquire about that or challenge him on those at any point?
We didn't ask him anything about the case.
You didn't ask him about his truthfulness or anything else in the case?
No.
But you were relying, at least at some portion, on what he was telling you to fill out this, make up this report, were you not?
Yes.
But you didn't really know what he was telling you then was true or false.
Well, we had additional information from collateral witnesses, from family members, and existing data to rely upon, which corroborated his answers to us.
So let me just ask you this, do you have your notes in front of you?
The entire chat on this channel wants him to get the death penalty, dude. It's interesting.
And man, your notes weren't titled, so I'm going to try to direct you to where I want to go.
Yeah. You may have to show them. You may have to show them to me. I don't
Which
have
is
that wrong.
interesting because that
I had them.
means
They're within 2 files, so mine were day 1, day 2.
Like there'll be like a witch hunt for that one juror that said no.
Absolutely.
If there is one.
Could be your notes.
Yes.
That's my highlighting and choose that.
Yeah, absent your revision.
Okay.
I can't imagine there not
So
being
in the
one.
report here, this, in your notes, this would be what Mr. Horner is telling you,
Mhm.
correct?
I'm capturing as much information as I can, yes.
So in your report, we just heard from Dr. Emhoff, and I'm just trying to clarify accuracy here. Mr. Horner reported cocaine 1 to 2 times per
Your Honor,
month.
if council could direct me to where he is with that.
Yeah, it's on page.
But-
Do you have a timestamp? There's timestamps on there.
Anyone that's smart will understand that gin pop, prison justice will happen much quicker and cheaper than death row. Less protection. You'll have more freedom.
This one I think is
Oh.
from the 16th. Oh, yeah, that's the one. This would be from the 16th,
16.
yes. October.
So a juror might think that and think, you know what?
This is the
I want him to go to gin pop, but I also want him to die. So
Question here.
that's why I want him to go to gin
Page
pop.
9 of your report here, just for an example, you talk about him using cocaine you asked him that, right? It says 1 to 2 times per month.
They won't say
You're
that.
not seriously, he started using.
They don't have to.
Is that correct? And then this report says that he denied he used crack cocaine, but you say yes, he was using crack cocaine, is that right?
That's correct.
And then with regard to hallucinogens, you say it's sporadic.
So you know, just because a juror, that's how these people need to understand. Just because a juror decides that he should go to gin pop, that doesn't mean that they don't want him to die, is the thing. They just want him to die quicker. Possibly.
Correct? Or the report?
The review.
We get, is that right? Sorry, on page 9.
There's no way he would last 10 years or more in gin pop, dude.
Because your notes reflect lots of X's, lots of X's, is that right?
That's correct.
So those don't match, do they?
They do not.
So is your report correct, or are your notes correct?
Well, those are my notes, and the report is a collaboration between Dr. Imhoff and myself. So often he will write sections of the report, and I will write sections of the report, so that appears maybe to be more reflective of the data that he collected during the interview.
Somebody get this motherfucking judge a Ricola, because you know what? They're good for your brain too, and maybe he'll wisen up and realize he's coughing straight into his fucking microphone. That's my new marketing for the Ricola. They should use that. It's good for the brain. All them herbs and shit makes you smarter.
Together when all this was going on.
Yes.
So it would seem like y'all would collect the same data, wouldn't it?
Try very hard, yes.
Right. So this is all information that Mr. Horner is reporting to you.
Yeah.
So we reported
You believe
differently.
is accurate, is what you're telling us.
To the best of my ability, yes.
Okay.
Did he report differently to the two doctors, or did she just perceive what
We
he
talked a
said
little
differently?
about services and things, about people, and I'm gonna kind of put this all together with the Social Security stuff here. You said the services provided allow them to transition from high school into adult life, and I think you said to be able to do things. Is that the word you used?
Are you referring to the Social Security records?
Well, I'm trying to get, you said that the services allow them, and I wasn't really clear what it allowed them to do transitioning from high school into adulthood.
Well, Social Security is, and specific to this, is Social Security income. So it's money that is provided to, for children to a designee. And once somebody is 18, if they continue to meet the requirement, then the money would be provided to them.
Let me stop you. I did not ask a very good question. Let me get back here. You said that they need support these people that have been diagnosed with level 1 autism need support that transition from high school into adulthood.
Most people with autism need assistance in transitioning.
Or to allow them to do things in life.
Yes,
For example, things like have friends and a social life. That is something they need to have.
sometimes, yes.
Maybe girlfriends and relationships.
Often.
What about work? Being able to work and be able to earn income.
For many, yes, they need assistance.
And things like that. But what you're talking about there are all things that, according to your report, that Tanner Horner does already have and has reported to you that that is how his life is it not?
Well, for Mr. Horner,
Dude,
he
he
had a
lived
very
in a fucking
inconsistent
shed.
ability to work.
It
He
looks
had many jobs.
Pigsty.
I believe we have a list included in the report. He had great difficulty maintaining employment.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Well, let me
it.
ask you about this. Your report reflects that he had multiple friends that he commented about you in his report.
Yes,
And he commented to you about an extensive social life, did he not?
I wouldn't use the word expensive.
Well, I mean, how many, let me just ask you, how many sexual partners did he say that he had?
I'd have to go back and look at
If I represented to you that he said it was 30, would that sound about right? So it sounded like he has a pretty active social life.
depends on how you define social life.
Okay, I agree with that. But he had girlfriends at the time, according to him?
He did have girlfriends, yes.
And then also
I
in
don't know.
addition to that, he admitted to you.
Finding other people with sex addictions and codependency issues and probably even autism themselves doesn't necessarily mean that the dude was a social butterfly, does it? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess from your notes, I would say pretty extensive drug use and partying. Is that right?
I believe that is true, yes.
And on top of that, you know as well in here that you said you got additional services and had them available to treat whatever mental health conditions were existing at that time, correct?
At which time?
Throughout his life. You reviewed the MHMR records and other things, did you not?
So he had sporadic services throughout his life.
Right.
I don't know if I believe
Now,
the 30
I'm
number
going to talk
though.
about work. You said he had a lot of different jobs.
30? For him?
And I'm going to guess you're attributing his many different jobs to his autism. Is that what you're saying?
I think he had problems with employment that related to a variety of things.
But what you're talking about here, and we've heard evidence of this, he was fired from different jobs and just walked out of different jobs, correct?
That's correct.
And that he was able to maintain employment for upwards of a year at least 2 different jobs, correct?
Is that good?
Sounds about right.
And that, including
A
at the
year?
job that he was having
That's horrible.
currently at right now. When this crime occurred November 30th, he was actively operating a FedEx truck, wasn't it?
Yes,
And that would require somebody to utilize a map or GPS, wouldn't it?
yes,
Would require somebody to communicate with people in the public.
yes.
And I would say effectively communicate things of package delivery and whatever he's doing as part of his job, right?
It's pretty narrow, but yes.
Would he be able to operate a motor vehicle?
Yes, a lot of people with autism drive.
Okay, I'm just going through that. So he was actively working and making money at the time of this offense, wasn't he?
Yes, that's correct.
So when you talk about that he needs support,
Yeah, but his longest lasting job was a year. So he was a ticking time bomb. As you can see what happened. Boom. I mean, well, I don't know, dude. It seemed like he wasn't very good at fucking working because look at what happened.
living life, what you've told me here is it sounds like he's living the life
I got he was at work.
just like everyone else who's living the life. Friends, social life, girlfriends, work, partying and drug use. Those all sound like things that everybody else does. Would you agree?
Yes.
Good. The last thing I want to talk to you about is, you made several comments about his ability to be in jail and not have any issues in jail. Right?
He's in solitary.
Yes, I answered.
How are you getting any
But it's true
problems?
that he's been in segregated custody the entire time, isn't that right?
That's my understanding.
So he didn't have access to other people to do things to.
He has been in segregation, yes, you're correct.
Well, he wouldn't do. Let's be real. He's not gonna. Can you imagine this dude doing anything to anybody while he's in there? He would get killed before his trial was even over with. Shit, they're looking for a reason to beat him down. I mean, they already have one. They're looking for an excuse to like, so maybe they can get away with it or something. Like, sure, man, you here? Please punch me first, you motherfucker. They're thinking. So,
Read records.
to think he would be starting shit with people is hilarious.
Dr. Stone, the state has spent a few minutes talking to you about the strengths that Tanner may possess. Being able to drive a car, follow GPS, things like that. When we are dealing with people with neurodevelopmental disorders, as a clinician, as a psychologist, as a forensic person, do we focus on their strengths or do we focus on their deficits?
Their deficits,
Why is that important?
because that's what we target for treatment.
So the fact that he can drive a car, does that mean he's not autistic?
No.
The fact that he was able to say hello and deliver a package, does that mean he's no longer on the spectrum? The fact that he was able to have a girlfriend, does that mean that he is not level one?
No.
When you look at the deficits, what are the deficits that presented for Tanner?
For Mr. Murray specifically, he had a lot of difficulty with reciprocity. So reciprocity is something that if you are neurotypical, you're able to do without thinking. So when I arrived today and I began interacting with guards outside. I said, hey, how you doing? They responded back. We had a brief conversation. And then I knew the conversation was done. They knew it was done. And so people that have autism often will continue to talk to people. They'll talk over the top of people. They're unable to read the nonverbal social cues that the conversation is over,
I totally
or that
do
it might
that
be
to
inappropriate
people
to
while
have
screaming.
it at all. So he has a
Sorry,
lot of
guys.
problems in engaging in appropriate reciprocity. He has substantial difficulty with nonverbal social
Doing
cues.
it right
So
now.
things that we would look to in facial expression, in tone of voice, in an instance where we're trying to explain something, he really struggles with those. And while, as was pointed out, he did have friends, the healthiness of those friendships, the reasons for some of those friendships, I would sort of question, that he had
Were they friends?
I would say those are things that impacted him the most in
Were they really?
interviewing, in records, and in the historical data.
And Dr. Spence, the state pointed out in your notes that, did you have a copy of your notes?
I don't believe I have a copy.
May I press one?
Yes, ma'am.
This was the case that the prosecutor had mentioned, where you had noted at the bottom that there was lots of acid. Is acid a hallucinogen?
Yes.
I want to look at the rest of your notes. With regards to hallucinogens, well, let me back up. With regards to the acid, was there any documentation in your notes related to the time frame during which he was taking acid?
No.
Is there documentation in your notes with regards to the time frame during which he was taking hallucinogens?
Yes, in my notes it says hallucinogens, started using them in 2011 or 2012, sometimes once per week, and sometimes he go long periods without using substances, then once per week.
So is that really an inconsistency? Inconsistency.
No.
The last thing that the state talked to you about was Tanner had been in segregated populations, so he didn't have access to others. He had access to you during your evaluation, did he not?
Yes.
Did he have access to Dr. Imhoff?
Yes.
Did he have access to the other experts who
That's true.
evaluated him?
Yes.
Did he have access to the guards on transport?
Yes.
Did he have access to the people who brought him his lunch?
Yes.
Did he have access to the people who brought him his medications?
Yes.
Did he have access to other people in the hall when you were with him waiting for transport?
I don't recollect.
But he had access to other people other than inmates.
Yes.
Did he attack any of those people?
Not to my knowledge.
I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Stanton,
No further.
may, Dr. Quince be excused.
No objection.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you very much. Okay, we're gonna break for lunch. It's on its way. It'll be here shortly, okay? So,
It is on.
see you in a little bit.
Ba-na-na-na, ba-na-na-na, ba-ba, ba-na-na-na, ba-na-na-na-na. Oh, 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 the heat is on.
Okay, so Chris, we've just been listening to this team of autism experts. What do you make of it?
Well, I think it's going to depend on how the defense is trying to use this, as mitigation evidence. On the one hand, you look at it and you think, well, what are you telling us exactly? That he's autistic, and does that make him scary to us? Does that excuse what he's done? They got to weave it together and tell the jury, why do we need to know this? How does this help us decide the ultimate decisions in the case?
Right.
So, like we were discussing, I don't want the jury, or if I was the defense, I wouldn't want the jury to think, hey, they're trying to excuse this by saying he's autistic, or he's got PTSD, or he had a bad childhood, or whatever it is. Because they're not going to go for that. Nobody's going to go for that. They need to say, at least I would hope, at least I would think that the defense would be, look, we can't excuse the crime.
Right.
It's inexcusable. It's unforgivable. And we're not asking you with a straight face to excuse it. What we're trying to do is paint a picture of who Tanner is, so that you as jurors can make a well-reasoned, unemotional decision after having all the facts, even the things that might contradict each other. We want you to learn everything that we know, everything that you can know about this man, and come to the conclusion that his life ought to be spared and he ought to spend the rest of his life in prison with no hope of release.
Right.
Which is no cakewalk.
No. But the thing is that the experts have been all over the map, right? Yesterday you had one expert said he doesn't have bipolar. Now we've got another expert saying he is bipolar.
There's going to be some of that is to be expected again, but you've got to lay that out for the jury so that when they hear it, they're receptive to it. The human mind isn't like an 8-cylinder engine where you can look at it and everybody can agree what's wrong with it and how to fix it. It's more of, based on your training, what do you think? Different psychiatrists might, as we've seen, come to different conclusions because it's a very, very difficult science.
Right, right.
So you want to lay that out to the jury that, hey, you might hear conflicting opinions, but they're all going to tell you that it's
Mitigating.
right.
Right.
But you got to lay it out ahead of time so the jury isn't sitting there thinking, why are we hearing this?
I don't recall much of that in their opening statement, but that's also been almost a month ago now.
Right.
It's been a long
So,
time.
so the defense will have a great opportunity during the close is to try and bring that all together. Now, whether it's going to work or not, it's got to be uphill. But that's the theory, I think, is why we're hearing this.
You got 3
Okay,
cats out
let's bring in
there.
Rebecca Lopez.
You got 3 cats, Fluffy, Frank, and the gray kitten.
I've been listening to his testimony this morning. Of course,
I did look at the calendar, my calendar real fast. See something.
Yeah, Tanya, that's what I noticed also, that they all. So,
I was
you know,
supposed to
are
give
autistic,
the
people,
kitten,
but they're not, you
but
know, they
this
don't
month has
know
31
fine,
days in
you
it,
know,
so that make it more like
I
the
thought that
second.
was effective.
So I'm only
Okay,
2 days
so
away
I
from the
think
kitten I'm
react
supposed to
to
be getting.
You know, most autistic.
I'm just gonna give it a half a one. That's a little smaller than other cats, but try to help it. Since it showed up today.
Very important that they
Good
pointed that out, and then he also pointed out,
Some
and I
flea
pointed out
medication.
before the testimony, somebody needs to say he's in segregation. He does still have limited access. He's not in the general population. He does not have as much access to people, and it is more controlled when he is in a cell by himself, only able to talk to the guy from yesterday through a steel wall. So, you know, I thought that was good that they brought that up.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I think it's a mistake to try and turn this into a discussion about demonizing autism, which I hope that's not what we're going with this. And that would lose a whole lot of credibility. But rather to put it out there, again, to make an attempt at mitigation. Now, if the state has a very good witness who has reviewed everything and says, hey, I totally disagree with this, that's going to be powerful evidence for the jurors back when they're deliberating to say, hey, well, what about the prosecution witness who said, he didn't buy anything.
Okay, yeah, well, right, because and for me, I just keep going back to Dr. Ryan yesterday. You had her saying, things that Tanner Horner had said that we know aren't true.
Right.
Like that he used cocaine and he thought Athena had seen him and so he kidnapped her. And I'm like, why are you seemingly believing that? I struggled with, it's like, almost like the unwillingness to acknowledge, like, this guy's got some serious problems here,
Yeah, give us something realistic, because if she's swallowed all that, then as a juror you're thinking, well, if she fell for that stuff, I'm not gonna believe anything she says.
Exactly.
So you gotta take the good with the bad. You can't just say, take his whole story and believe it, and then come to the conclusion that this, that, and PTSD, autism, whatever else. Because then the jury's thinking they're just paid here to come.
I have to wear some cat food real fast here.
She's paid quite a bit. Rebecca, talk to us about what's coming up this afternoon.
So this afternoon, we are going to hear from Tanner Horner's grandmother. She's making her way now to the courthouse. And again, because she has health issues, they're going to take her testimony in, smaller amounts of time and probably take a few breaks. But she's to take the rest of the afternoon. Then no court tomorrow. And then we still have one more defense expert on Monday. And then they are done with their case. And then we'll hear the rebuttal witnesses. But I just don't know how. I feel like they're losing this jury by continuing to bring in expert after expert. They all are saying some similar things, some different things. I feel like it would have been more effective, at least in my opinion, just from watching and being in the courtroom and observing, that they could have condensed a lot of this with 1 or 2 or 3 expert witnesses, maybe 3 expert witnesses. I don't know how many, but definitely not the 19 or whatever that they have called to the stand.
about that, Chris?
You know, I think there's a lot of truth to that. But again, they're probably only playing to one or two jurors who are at all sympathetic to the litigation defense. I think the vast majority of the jurors probably already have decided they're not supposed to, and I get that. But it's awfully hard not to sit there and already make your mind up. But there might be a couple that you can reach, and that's got to be what the defense is trying for. Just hoping that something resonates with one or two people so that they can hold out against death. That's it. That's all you can do.
You should see what sticks against the wall, basically.
Pretty much.
Hey, Rebecca, somebody had a question, this week after in the chat. Somebody said, if he's in solitary, how is he able to make friends? With our inmate that testified
Oh,
yesterday?
excuse me, can you ask that again?
Somebody asked in the chat, if
Well,
he's in,
I asked,
so if he's in solitary, how is he able to make
yes,
friends?
Tanya. Well, he made friends with that one, person that, came forward yesterday, he nicknamed him Chicken or whatever he called him, because they share a, cell wall, and it's, I mean, they're not very far apart, I mean, they're like, they're right next to each other, and through that steel wall, you can still hear, and they can still talk to one another, they talk to each other through that wall. That's why he's able to make friends with that guy, but he's not, out there in the general population making friends with, the people and the inmates in this jail. It's just that one guy that shares that wall with him.
And depending on how the cells are configured, a lot of times inmates can communicate through the plumbing, through the drain.
Really?
Yeah, because it all connects and drains to the same place, so you can talk through the pipes.
He's right.
Wow, live and learn.
Yeah.
See that? Live and learn. See, I haven't been in a jail, so I haven't spent any time there. So I was not aware of that. Rebecca, were you aware that you can talk through the pipes? Is that new one for you?
Well, I've seen that in movies, but I actually didn't know that.
Selling movies, I mean,
See,
did you
even
think
after
that
all
was
these
fake,
years,
lady?
even you and I can learn something.
Right.
So Chris has taught us something new. Rebecca, what kind of expert are we
that'd be
expecting?
fake.
What's this last expert that we think we're going to get from the defense? I guess on Monday then.
Yeah,
Grandma's gonna
honestly,
be a
I
trip.
thought and had heard that the last expert we were going to hear from on Monday was Dr. Ryan, but they brought her up earlier, so I suspect that we're just going to, Grandma's going to be the last character witness, and then we'll hear from another expert, a psychiatrist that's basically going to try to weave all of this together.
Okay, well, he's got some weeding ahead of him. So, he's gonna have to bring in testimony from all these experts together and then explain to the jury why it's important and why it means that, Porter shouldn't die.
So if you're the defense attorney and you're talking to Grandma on the stand, what are you hoping to get?
Grandma's not gonna, bring a lot to the party. She's gonna, obviously say that, he's a good boy and he did this, that, the other thing for me when he was little.
He was a sweet boy.
But that's to be expected from Grandma. So
My
she
sweet
might be
little
a
boy.
time filler to make the trial last an extra day until your other psychiatrists can testify. But maybe Porter felt very strongly that she testified, so you call her to appease him. But Grandma's not going to save us alive. She's going to say again what every grandmother's going to say.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't expect a withering cross-examination from Grandma.
Right. I mean, she's going to be apparently an elderly lady with
Sure.
MS. So.
She'll contribute her 2 cents, and I bet she's out without any cross-examination at all.
Folks liked your comment about Grandma's not going to bring a lot to the party.
Oh,
You're not as colloquial as Cody was. I mean, Cody had them rolling. Oh, hey, there's Rebecca. We got her back. She keeps dropping in and out. Okay, Rebecca, go ahead.
Well, yeah, every time I get a phone call, it knocks me off, so I don't know how to fix that. But anyway, I think think that one of the things that if I would look for, if I were the prosecution on cross with grandma without, I mean, she's gonna come off sympathetic to him, would be what, and I don't know, how, truthful she would, be or how open she would be, but we need to know more about his history. Did he have a history of other abuse in that family, or did he get involved with any of the other family members, that sort of thing? I mean, I feel like we don't have the answer to that because, Tanya, as you and I and a lot of experts have told us, you don't just start off by to kill a 7-year-old girl and commit sexual acts. There is a history, and whether or not the defense has been able to find it or brought it forward, I mean, he's got to have some sort of history of other violence or more of a pedophilia kind of diagnoses. Even though Dr. Ryan says no, he's not. The experts tell us people don't just start off by doing something like what he did to Athena. There is an escalation of that, and we know that he started fires as a kid. We know that there have been these other people that the 2 girls that he victimized. Allegedly, he's indicted for that.
I was about to add the word allegedly.
Said that he had sex with them when they were underage. Yeah, allegedly. Yeah, he's indicted. He's not been convicted, but people, when they took the stand, they accused him of having sex with them when they were underage, and he was in his 20s. And so, I would want something more from Grandma, a history of what happened.
Go ahead, Chris.
Wow, I mean, that again, that could cut both ways. I mean, you don't want grandma to come down here and say, well, yeah, I remember the fire starting. And then what is she gonna, you don't want her to talk about, other horrible things that he did as a kid. I mean, geez, that just gives ammo to the prosecution. I'd say leave that alone, unless grandma can come in and say, crazy cousin, whatever, used to touch Tanner and do, if she can do that kind of thing and give a reason for why he's, damaged in some way, again, mitigation, that's helpful, but I sure don't want grandma to come in and talk about any other offenses that he might have committed. That's not gonna help.
That's dangerous territory.
Yeah.
So, Rebecca, we understand, so grandma's gonna basically, she's got MS then?
Yes, she has MS, and she's actually in a wheelchair, so they're bringing her in through, special entrance here at the courthouse, and then, and again, she's not in good health, and so her testimony is going to be limited to short spurts.
Okay.
It could be helpful a little bit again, but grandma's going to say, don't kill Sonny.
Right.
That's what she's going to say, unless you can again bring something horrible, some dramatic childhood event that life-altering event. She's of limited use, I think.
I've got the same exact order coming from 2 different places.
Tanya does
One from Amazon and one from the local pet shop. Same exact order. One of them says it'll get here from 3 to 6. The other one says it'll get here from 2 to 6. I'm gonna see which one gets here first, just to see. I'm gonna need the cat food anyway, because Sawyer's gonna need like another month or 2 of kitten mixture, and like this other one, I feed all the cats. So, and if anything, I can just take back one of the cases to PetSmart if I want. Or that works out, man.
Right.
Well, it's just one of the things that I thought.
Amazon, dude, if I told them it didn't work, they would actually give it to me for free, but I'm not trying to do all that.
Was also, well, I thought, Mom was.
You would be out here scamming with cat food, I swear.
She actually ended up hurting Tanner with some of her testimony because she ends up saying, well, yeah, he would come tell me to get his kid because he was afraid he might hurt him. And so you don't know what's going to come out of grandma's mouth that may not go the way the defense wants it to go.
So grandma could hurt him, right,
She
Chris?
could, yeah, yeah.
Oh, grandma gonna
I
hurt
would like
him.
to think that grandma's
So,
interviewed about,
You were
I don't know
6
what it is
and
that she's gonna say, but you never know. She could open the door to something that hurts just like,
Just like mom.
yeah, just like mom.
we do.
All right, Rebecca, we will catch you back after lunch.
Okay, firstly for the kitten, gonna give him some kitten food.
All right, folks, we're gonna take a break.
21 grams.
Until shortly before 1, I believe, if I'm understanding correctly, that they're supposed to come back around 1. So we'll come back, about 10 to, we'll take a break and we will see you back here shortly.
Some of the regular one maybe. Well, I mean, actually, no, some of the regular one. Or, no, because I don't have an old one for him. I don't want an old one for him. I'm gonna give her actually. Man, should I give her 46? Oh no, it landed the wrong way down. I'm already short on food, man. That sucks. Yeah, I picked some of it out. Lost some. This song sucks. So 46 for her. Man, I'm sure I ran out of food. These times I eat much, so I don't think I'm about to give him more. Give her 55, which is kind of a lot, but I think she might need some help. She's showing up. Plus, she doesn't show up very often. Okay, next we got Fluffy and Frank. Frank, I'm gonna give him some of this one that I used to feed Simon. So for 11+ year olds, it's just got some extra vitamins and shit and probably doesn't taste quite as good. But I'm gonna mix it. Oh my goodness. Let me see how bad this one is. It's expired. No, but this one, I noticed its fat content super low, so I don't think I should mix this one great. Yeah, no, it's only got 1 point something. 1.9% fat. It's much lower than what these are at 6. So that would fuck this up, stomach up probably. This one's expired by like a year and 4 months, but it's still edible probably. But it's just, its macros are so much different than the other ones. Alright, so that means I have 1 can. Which one was this one? Whose was this one? Oh, this is the kittens. Oh, whose was this one? Okay, that's right. Anyone else's actually? Okay. Yeah, what should I mix it with here? I'm trying to get rid of some of this food I have down here because it's starting to expire and shit. Like this says best before 4/26 on it. Sensitive stomach salmon. duck and vegetable entree. I think they would like that one. What's the macros looking like? Dude, look how small his writing is. Fiber max 2%, so this has more fiber. Crude protein minimum 7%. That's high. Fat max only 3.5%. So that's lower. Shit. Oh no. No man, I got too many cats showing up this morning. I wish that kitten wouldn't have showed up a little bit, kinda. Well, let me see if this can's good. It's damaged, and I've been holding on to it for months, thinking it stinks or anything. Let's plop it out and see if it doesn't stink. If a dented cat food can doesn't stink, it's probably good, right? It doesn't look or smell off at all. Got a nice pink color to the inside of it. I think it's good. It's this can. I've been holding on to it for like a year now because it was dented like this. And it's got that pretty sharp dent, like crease right there. But it doesn't look like it actually punctured anything. And gnarly dent. I think we're good though. I don't smell anything crazy. Alright, so I'm gonna use this, man. It's for seniors. It's got some vitamins in it that he's not used to, but the macros are pretty much the same. So it's way easier for them to get accustomed to. So that's the kittens. Now we're going to be doing Fluffy. And I think Fluffy and Frank can both eat this one. Like Simon just ain't having it anymore. So this is, man, if it gets him sick, I'm going to be so sad. But I was thinking we. I think if there were microscopic leaks, we would have some odor, right, y'all? Right? Is anybody here? Nobody knows. Not smelling bad does not guarantee it's safe. What? Dude, now I'm fucking freaked out. How to tell if it has botulism? How? Well, isn't leaking? It's not rusted. Is it bulging? Liquid or gel that spurts out? No, there was no liquid or jelly. Discolored, foamy, or moldy food, foul, cheesy, or putrid smell. Cloudy or murky liquid in jar. It should be clear. No. I think it would have some sort of signs. It would have looked crazier than that. What? Oh, it can exist without the bulging, and other bacteria can cause bulging. It didn't look off at all though. It doesn't look off at all. No, at all. If Man, I'm tripping out, dude. It's all like, yeah, you never know. It might not even, you might not even see it. You might not even see anything. I end up killing all the cats with this can of food, dude. I have to check all the fucking seams, man. I think we're good though. I think these cans are better at taking impacts. These aluminum cans are better at taking impact than the old school steel cans. And not breaking the plane of the metal plane, because it's more malleable metal. Some of these cans are made out of steel. I think it's good, dude. Alright. So, what is what here? Who's who? That's Frank. This is Fluffy. I don't feel good about this. I'm nervous, dude. I don't like it. I don't like what's happening. But if all the cats end up dying from this one can of food, then, well, it won't be all the cats, but Holy shit. I don't like this at all. I don't have enough food, man. I fucked up. I didn't fucking order it in time. I don't know, dude. I'm freaking out a little bit. We're using this. Because it's a $2 can of cat food that I could end up filling cats over. It would have been leaking or something, right? Like when I pressed on the can, I would have probably been able to like press some kind of liquid out the creases or something. It's probably good, dude. Alright, so 1, 2, 3. Those are for the back cats. I got. And I can just use, I don't even have to use any more of this actually. For the front cats, I can use this can of this, I guess. That should be all the cats. So now they won't get botulism at least. This is for Trident. This is for Shiloh. Probably too much for Shiloh. I don't want to get her too dependent either. Okay, now I guess I might just throw this away. Well, we shouldn't have to worry about like making them too dependent and shit. I would just plop this in their shits. I know Fluffy would eat it. Dang it. So this one is just one matter, they're both around the same. 39, 35, Trident, just heavier. Five, 54, 35. So that's Fluffy, that's Frank, and this is gonna be Kitten. So, but that's a pretty lot. I'd be giving them another 15 grams each. Well, it sucks to throw it away, but it was a dead can anyway. give to them in the front, I'm limiting their food and like I don't want to contaminate it. This shit actually is poisonous. I really doubt it, dude. I think like the whole botulism thing is a super big scare thing because we used to use steel cans more, and I think they were much more prone to breaking when they got dented. I think the little can, for one, the seam on it isn't a seam even. It's rounded. If it got actually hit on a seam where metal was like joined together, it'd be different. But it's all one piece. So that's these are going where? These are going there. These are going out there. I need to get the medicine for her. Okay. So much this. Okay, we got about half a Cordelio here. I don't even know if this is enough for her because, like, realistically, I could probably give her a whole one. And they said I could give, my vet said I could give Simon half one of these at one point when he was like 12 pounds and she's nowhere near that. So, being safe since I don't have the ability to observe them. I'm safe with her. The other ones I've been given a full one lately. Okay, just gonna put this on top. Kind of cover it up a little bit with the food in there. Just pop some food right on top of it so she gobbles it up, hopefully. If Penelope's out there, I'm gonna have to just give Penelope the rest of that. Alright, so this is that front. This goes to the back. Framed. There's Lovely's the biggest, but gets the least amount of food. I feel bad for her. Okay. Fresh water bowl. Trash taken out. I'm running late today. Because of the food, I don't have the right food. Like I normally would, I have it down, you know. Figure out what to feed them, dude. Man, I thought I dropped the ball yesterday. We're running an experiment now, though, to see which delivery company gets here quicker. I only put a $2 tip on a $40-something order from the local pet store. but I didn't put any tip on Amazon, but I did a like a monthly thing where it's like you subscribe and save type thing with it. Amazon says 2 to 6, the other place says 3 to 6. Will Amazon actually get it here before 3? If they do, and the expiration date is as fresh or fresher, then we will have a clear winner. I'm having fun with it, and I can always take them back to the local place, or Amazon doesn't accept returns. I could literally just say my cat won't eat this anymore, and they give you your money back to pet food. I've done it more than once because Simon legit wouldn't eat it. It was before I had all these outdoor cats that I was just feeding it to when that happens. Now I don't even really say anything. I just feed it to the outdoor cats. But that's kind of how this all started with outdoor cats. I had a bunch of food that I had done that with Simon. Because, like, for instance, the Ziwi had a bunch of bones in it. At one point, I was having to sift them out. Big ass bones. You remember that shit? Look at that fucking thing. That was in his cat food. That thing's big enough to make a weapon out of in prison. You can make a shank with that bone. Alright. Dude, if Trident and Shiloh would have gotten spayed, there would definitely be some kittens already like in the process of wanting to walk over here and say what's up. See that? I kind of did it for selfish reasons, didn't I? The getting the cat spayed. I didn't want to see any more kittens showing up, bro. All right, let's see what we got out here. I can hear them rubbing up against the door. Get back, get back, get back. What are you doing? No, no, no. Get back. Come on, man. Yeah, you tell her, Frank. What's she doing? She knows better than that shit. Where'd the kitten go? Meow. Where'd it get? Go, skip. No, no, it's skip. No. Hurry right back. I can smell the food. I smell what you got in there, human. Because it's right there next to the door. They can definitely smell it. Alright, you got ready to see the gray kitten, did you? She went back to hide behind the dang trash cans. Alright. Hopefully she didn't run off. I need her to take her medicine. They love to do that though with the back door. I gotta spray him. She stuck her fucking head in the door just now. Yeah, I gotta learn. this Frank that I gave that food to? The extra paranoid now, and I'm gonna have to look up what. If we see him tomorrow, he's okay, right? That was worse. Does this happen again? Get back. Try to go to the front door. I know, he's so hungry. Shiloh let me pet her belly a little bit. I was able to feel her body condition. She's in really good shape. I was able to feel like her ribs and her side and a little bit of her belly while she was eating. I'm really wondering if she's somebody's cat that, cause she, like her body condition's so good. Same with Trident. I can't touch Trident. I can just tell by looking at her though that she was eating steak. Man, who all did I give? Dude, I must have given it to more than one cat. Boy, cats got the tainted, well, the possibly tainted stuff. Does anybody remember? Cats got the possibly botulism to food. I know Frank for sure. Man, I'm worried for Frank. He didn't finish all his food. Didn't finish all of it. And maybe it's just because it tastes funky, because it's like, it's not what he's used to. It's the senior version. Simon doesn't really like it either anymore. But, fuck man. I really hope I didn't just kill Frank. We got 2 in the front, 3 in the back. The gray kitten got the half a pill of Cordelio today. Fluffy and Frank also ate in the back. Tried and Shiloh out in the front, so it's 5 out in the back. So 5 outside cats, 3 indoor, 8 cats fed for the day. So, but how long till botulism shows up in cat? 12 to 72 hours, 6 days. What? I gotta worry about this for a week now? Oh my god, dude. That crease looks totally fine. It's the crease over here that concerns me. Let's see. Are dented aluminum cat can can lay a finger, if you can lay a finger in the dent, I can lay a finger in it, I guess. Sharp points or dents on the bottom or top seam should be discarded. Pro. Fuck. Did it sound different when I opened it? I'm really fucking concerned now. Fuck, man. I'm really concerned, dude. I can't remember if I tested whether or not the bottom of the can like made a popping sound or not. It did like I think it might have, dude. I think that might have been because I think I had a can that was doing that, dude. I just killed fucking Frank, man. I might be done with this cat feeding shit. Actually, that might be it. But like, I can't fucking believe I gotta wait for 6 days to know whether or not I fucked up. I can't remember if I could do that or not. I was supposed to check that, wasn't I? I was supposed to check if it did that. I didn't check. I didn't fucking check, dude. God damn it. God damn it. What would the conditions need to be for botulism to not show any signs? Like the lid wasn't bulging on it though, or anything. Like, what? What? I'm gonna be worried about this shit all fucking week, dude. That was stupid of me to give that food to him. It's like his grandmother's on stand now. I can't think of anything else with this now. I've had that can for fucking probably a year or two. I don't know why I didn't just throw it away. sorry, Simon. I was like today. You don't get any more food till this afternoon, buddy. Man, he really didn't have much breakfast today compared to other mornings. A lot left of the second can. Today was a weird fucking morning though. When I don't have my shit together, it's all weird. I need to get fucking Sawyer to eat more food, dude. Right. Nah. Why are you willing to hurt yourself to get out of there? I swear. Oh. What the fuck was that? Dude, I'm not trying to play right now, sweet pea. Sorry, it's not fucking playtime. Come on, Sawyer. Come on. Come on, have some food. Come on. Have some more food, come on. There you go. I don't care if you don't eat. You're fucking staying in there anyway, dude. Guys, I'm good. Bye. Jesus Christ.